Jeffrey Epstein had video surveillance in all of his homes and on his private island. He videotaped sex acts with prominent people, with young girls that he had procured. Now, that's a fact. The FBI and other federal agencies have raided his houses. Do you have those tapes?
You know how much we love Senator John Kennedy. I mean, he's the best. We featured him a little bit. We feature him whenever we can. Whenever we can feature Senator John Kennedy, we do it. And yesterday, he was at the top of his game. He was interviewing Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, about a lot of things. But is he not just all of us right now? Is that not just... Senator John Kennedy is every single American looking at the state of affairs right now. He specifically wanted to know from FBI Director Christopher Wray some answers with regard to the ongoing cover-up, the now closed investigation of Jeffrey Epstein.
We know that Jeffrey Epstein, who is now deceased, and Ms. Maxwell, his associate, who's in prison, were engaged in a conspiracy of sex trafficking with minors. So were others. It's been widely reported. What's the FBI doing to investigate the other people that were involved in these sex trafficking rings?
Well, I'm not sure that I can confirm any specific individual.
Well, let me put it this way. Let me give you some facts, widely reported. Jeffrey Epstein had video surveillance in all of his homes and on his private island. And there have been articles after articles from witnesses who have said he videotaped sex acts with prominent people because he was trying to with young girls that he had procured to try to incur favor with those prominent people and potentially to be able to blackmail them. Now, that's a fact. And the FBI and other federal agencies have raided his houses. Do you have those tapes?
Again, I can't discuss the specifics of our law enforcement operations related to Mr. Epstein or Ms. Maxwell, but obviously we had very...
No one's asking about the law enforcement operations. The question is, do you have the tapes that allegedly were made in the homes? And there's a couple of things I don't understand here that maybe we'll get to the bottom of, but Jeffrey Epstein is dead. How he got there is, I think, still worth questioning and investigating, but he's dead. All right. So there's no ongoing investigation of Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison. All right. For procuring underage girls for wealthy, powerful, well-known clients. Now, if she's guilty of procuring underage girls for clients for sexual services, why is it we have not prosecuted any of the clients? What Ghislaine Maxwell did is illegal, right? She basically acted as a pimp, as a madam, along with Jeffrey Epstein, to procure underage girls for sexual services for men. But the men in question here are also guilty of procuring said services, and yet they don't get arrested, let alone prosecuted. Does this make any sense? And to convict Ms. Maxwell, part of the evidence here has to be, oh yeah, you did this for these clients because look, here are the clients. And yet none of this is allowed to be revealed. And Christopher Wray, the FBI director, oh, well, we don't want to, get in the way of putting this out there because it might jeopardize. For God's sake, as we mentioned yesterday, they still won't tell us about the Kennedy assassination 60 years later. Who are we protecting here? That is the question. Who are we protecting? And so now you got weaselly little squirmy Christopher Wray, who's going to try to slither and slide out of this by saying, well, I can't really reveal such things in the middle of testimony. Could we just call bullshit all of this finally on all of this? That's not true. If the senator is asking you about who is it going to harm? Who's it going to jeopardize? What exactly is going to be put into question? What is Christopher Wray afraid of? If he confirms that they have the tapes, then the people who are on the tapes are going to do what? What, you're afraid that you're going to, give them a heads up that you're coming after him? You're not coming after anybody. You would have by now. This is such a massive cover-up.
Very active investigation related to both of them, but whether it extends to other people, I'm not sure that's something.
Wait, I got to go back. There's an active investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, an active investigation into a dead man who Hillary Clinton may or may not have allegedly, probably, but maybe not had killed, suicided, allegedly, reportedly, supposedly. There's an active investigation into that guy, the corpse.
Have raided his houses. Do you have those tapes?
Again, I can't discuss the specifics of our law enforcement operations related to Mr. Epstein or Ms. Maxwell, but obviously we had very active investigation related to both of them. But whether it extends to other people, I'm not sure that's something that
But here,
comment on.
a suit was filed yesterday against one of those prominent people by one of the young women sex trafficked, allegedly. Said he was part of the ring. It's on the front page. I don't know, is this New York Times, Wall Street Journal? And we keep seeing article after article after article. And we keep hearing about prominent person after prominent person after prominent person. I just want to know if these prominent people are above the law and are going to be, and aren't being investigated, or is the FBI investigating them?
Well, no one is above the law, number one. As to whether specific people are being investigated, that's not something that I, as I'm sure you can appreciate, can engage on here. We've devoted.
But he's not asking about specific people. He's just saying anybody. You don't even have to give me a name. Just tell me, are you investigating the clients? Do you have the tapes of the clients? Do you know who the clients were? And by the way, what's the purpose of keeping that secret? See, I would think it would be incredibly powerful for the FBI director to just make a public statement, whether it's in a hearing or a press conference, come on television, come on this show and say, I want every single client of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein to know that we know who you are and we're coming after you. What would be the harm in that? Honestly, am I stupid or something that I'm not quite getting it? Because here's what you do, guys. You make that statement, and then whoever starts running for the hills, that's probably who you should be investigating. Honestly, you don't have to give us a name, you obsequious little jerk. God, this guy drives me nuts. And he acts like the senators work for him. Have you ever noticed that whenever an FBI director goes up there, they act like they're the boss and the senators are there to serve them? So the answer is, I can't say one way or the other if we're investigating the clients. Well, if you're not investigating the clients, you should be fired. How about that? That's what the answer should be. Are you investigating the clients who Ghislaine Maxwell went to jail for servicing? And if not, clean out your desk. How many years has it been?
Devoted significant resources to the investigation.
Is it ongoing?
I'm not sure there's anything I can share with you on that, but let me see if we can get back to you and provide a little more
Well, for
information
example,
about
these allegations in this lawsuit, the civil action. is
Yeah,
it-
I haven't seen
You ought to read
the
it.
article.
It'll trigger your gag reflex. Is the FBI going to investigate that?
Well, again, I haven't seen the article, but I would be happy to take a look at it and take it back and see if it's part of something.
I'd
we're
just
already
like to
working on.
know,
I share your.
yeah, is the FBI still investigating this, or are these prominent people going to go scot-free?
I'm not sure that I can tell you whether or not there is ongoing work being devoted to this. I would be happy to take a look at the specific article. I share your disgust at Mr. Epstein's conduct and Ms. Maxwell's conduct.
And others.
The whole operation.
Okay, thanks, Madam Chair.
Do you, though? Do you really share that disgust? Because you don't seem very disgusted. This is a guy who's saying, this is disgusting. I am absolutely disgusted by all of these allegations having to do with this Jeffrey Epstein thing. If only there was someone out there who could do something about it. Oh, well, I guess I'll go back to my job as the FBI director. Here's what Senator Kennedy was referring to, by the way. Jeffrey Epstein accuser sues prominent psychiatrist for making her, quote, a sex slave. This is from Reuters. Prominent 91-year-old psychiatrist who was once close friends with Jeffrey Epstein was sued on Monday by a one-time model who said he enabled the late financier's sex trafficking and turned her into his modern-day sex slave. Complaint filed in Manhattan federal court. The plaintiff used a pseudonym, Jane Doe 11, said Henry Jarecki raped her repeatedly starting in 2011 after Epstein referred her for mental health treatment following his own sexual abuses. Doe also said Jarecki was Epstein's go-to doctor for treating young women experiencing depression, shared victims' confidential medical information with Epstein, and shielded Epstein from law enforcement. I would call somebody like that a person of interest. And he's 91 years old right now. Maybe they should sort of get on it. So you're seeing these civil lawsuits, but nothing criminal. What are they afraid of? If you go after one of these clients, why do we even use the word clients? You go after one of these dirtbag perverts, that opens up the book to all of them. Is there someone else in that book that you're not going to go after? And so you decide not to go after any of them? Are you concerned that in discovery, the defense of the one pervert you decide to go after will be able to see all the evidence you've got that includes the evidence on the other perverts you're protecting? Is that what's going on here, FBI Director Christopher Wray? It would be nice to know. Really nice to know. But no. We got bigger fish to fry. Donald Trump labeled a payment to his lawyer as a legal fee instead of using that drop-down menu item, hush money. And so we got to expend as much resources as we can for that process.